The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
And good morning here at 6 a.m. Thanks for waking up with us. I'm Maddie Jansen alongside Alex Fisher and Kevin Charette on opening day for the Olympics. And we begin this morning with a major expansion coming to one of downtown Bakersfield's most recognizable entertainment venues. It's the latest in a string of efforts to revitalize the area, and along with it, the iconic venues everyone knows and loves.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool too. 17's Chris Burton is live this morning at the Fox Theater, and that is not Chris Burton. But he has a look at where this project is set to begin. And Chris, there you are. Good morning.
Maddie, Alex, good morning. And yes, it's very exciting stuff, especially for frequent patrons of the Fox. This morning, I can report that the Historic Theater is looking to transform this row of long dormant storefronts that is along H Street behind me. The plan? To turn it into a VIP bar/performance space for ticket holders and frequent guests of the Fox. Now, we've tracked down an artist's rendering to give you a look of what this might look like. And here it is. You can see that they're planning on opening some of those storefronts up and putting some bar seating around it, and also creating that lounge-style seating in the front itself. It'll be a place to gather, socialize, and listen to live music before, after, or during performances in the adjacent theater. So the question, when does it open? Well, that's undetermined so far. Fox Theater General Manager Matt Spindler tells us the grand opening date is one of the many aspects of this project that are not yet nailed down. But we do know that work on getting the space ready for construction will start this weekend with volunteers from the Southwest Carpenters Local 661. So you can look for that to start this weekend. For now, live in downtown Bakersfield, Chris Burton, 17 News.
All right, Chris, thanks so much. I think that's just so neat that that's coming to downtown. Meantime, also downtown, the hub of Bakersfield says its selfie museum, called Obscura, was such a hit that they're bringing it back for 2 more Fridays. The exhibit is located on G Street near 20th Street. Many of the rooms feature props, and guests are invited to get creative. And it's not all about selfies. Obscura also sells work from local artists. It's happening tonight and then again next Friday, February 11th, from 6 to 10 p.m. For more information, just head to our website, kget.com.
Kevin Hart's returning to downtown Bakersfield this weekend. Tickets are still available for his shows at the historic Fox Theater. The first 2 are happening tonight at 7 and then 10 p.m. He has another show scheduled for tomorrow at 10 p.m. as well. And last month, Hart's 2 other shows at the Fox sold out just within hours. If you want to grab some tickets, head to the Fox Theater box office or go to axs.com.
6:07 is our time now, and now to some breaking news this morning. A healthy jobs report came out showing nearly 500,000 jobs were added last month. The U.S. Department of Labor released its report less than an hour ago. Despite surge in coronavirus cases across the nation, 467,000 jobs were added. Prior to this morning's report, the White House did warn that the report could be low due to the rise in cases. The unemployment rate edged slightly higher, now sitting at 4%. More details are emerging about the U.S. raid on the head of ISIS in Syria. The Biden administration now calling the world a safer place after his death.
He's also praising U.S. commandos for a successful mission while admitting the threat of ISIS still remains. NBC's Bree Jackson has the latest from Washington.
Good morning, Maddie, Alex. Military officials say the mission in Syria was months in the making. And while the raid delivered a devastating blow to ISIS, military officials warn that a replacement is already waiting in the wings. The U.S. Special Ops raid happened in northwestern Syria. The target, Abu Ibrahim al-Hashimi al-Qurayshi, the leader of ISIS.
Thanks to the bravery of our troops, this horrible terrorist leader is no more. Our forces carried out the operation with their signature preparation and precision.
Video taken before and after the attack was released by the Defense Department. Military officials say U.S. forces used bullhorns to tell those inside the building to come out, safely evacuating 10 people, including 8 children. However, the ISIS leader remained inside, detonated a bomb, killing himself, his wife, and his 2 children.
This is a man that we should all be happy is no longer walking on the face of the earth.
President Biden gave the green light for the operation Tuesday, choosing a raid over an airstrike.
We made this choice to minimize civilian casualties.
News of the ISIS leader's death drew praise on Capitol Hill.
That's very good news. Obviously, ISIS is a great threat to our interests, not only in the Middle East, but around the world.
And warnings that another terrorist leader will emerge.
What we're going to continue to see is an engagement to take ISIS wherever they are and however we can to undermine their abilities to attack the homeland.
The president says this operation took one major terrorist leader off the battlefield and sends a strong message to terrorists around the world. Military officials say they're still reviewing the operation and examining electronics gathered by U.S. forces on the ground. In Washington, I'm Bree Jackson for 17 News.
And now to some developing news out of Southwest Bakersfield and the aftermath of a crash involving a Hall ambulance and a Get bus. It happened around 8 o'clock last night at the intersection of White Lane and Acres Road. As you can see, the ambulance ended up on its side there. We reached out to Bakersfield police to find out if anyone was hurt and how the crash happened, but we've not heard back yet.
17 News is your local election headquarters, and a recent survey finds that Governor Gavin Newsom has a strong chance of keeping his seat this year. It also finds the majority of Californians approve of the way he and President Biden have handled the COVID-19 pandemic. Nearly 60% of all respondents said they approve of Newsom and Biden's policies, but that number largely skews Democratic. If you look at how members of both parties responded, 80% of Democrats support both politicians, with only 17% of Republicans approving of Newsom and 13% of Republicans approving of Biden. The poll was conducted by the Public Policy Institute of California.
The Butte County Sheriff's Office is releasing new details in Wednesday night's mass shooting in Oroville, north of Sacramento. A 21-year-old man's accused of stripping off his clothes and opening fire on a Greyhound bus, killing at least 1 woman. Witnesses say Asadi Coleman became agitated and paranoid during the bus ride. Then, as people were getting off the bus at a convenience store, he pulled out a gun and opened fire. After the shooting, he ran off. Authorities caught up with him after getting a 911 call about a naked man at a nearby Walmart. And officials are defending their response after facing mounting questions on why they didn't inform the public about the beating of a San Francisco 49ers fan outside SoFi Stadium on Sunday, saying video had emerged showing the man involved in a small altercation. It took 3 days and an inquiry from the LA Times before authorities in Inglewood acknowledged the incident, which left 40-year-old restaurant owner Daniel Luna in a medically induced coma. Luna was found bleeding in a stadium parking lot Sunday, about half an hour into the NFC Championship showdown. It remains unclear who made the 911 call that resulted in him being taken to Harbor UCLA Medical Center.
In your 17 Health Watch this morning, Kern County has some of the highest rates of obesity and mortality due to chronic health conditions in the entire state. That's according to public health officials who are now encouraging residents to create a healthier community. Officials say 78% of Kern County adults are either overweight or obese, and more Kern County residents die from diabetes than anywhere else in California. Kern Public Health is offering several initiatives geared at improving overall health. You can learn more about those programs at their website, kernpublichealth.com.
Happening today, the American Heart Association is kicking off Go Red for Women National Wear Red Day. The association's encouraging women to reclaim your rhythm for today's event. People across the county are encouraged to wear red to help raise awareness of the prevalence of heart disease and stroke in women. The association says that cardiovascular disease remains the greatest health threat for women today. And you can make a donation to support the American Heart Association at wearredday.org.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.